Welcome to the Tides of Time podcast, where each month we'll embark on a journey through time. Join me as we dive deep into the pivotal moments and influential figures that have shaped the history of our Navy. I'm MC2 Carson, and today we delve into the life of John Paul Jones, widely regarded as the father of the U.S. Navy and one of the most renowned figures in American naval history. His bold actions during the American Revolution brought him both fame and notoriety. This retelling of the life of John Paul Jones is based on historical events and accounts, but it has been dramatized for storytelling purposes. While efforts have been made to maintain accuracy, certain liberties may have been taken with timelines to enhance narrative flow. This retelling may contain sounds and words that depict violence, loss, and warfare. Listener discretion is advised. Born in the year 1747 in a modest cottage near Arbigland, Scotland, he was the son of a gardener raised on the coast of Kirkcudbrightshire. As a boy, he stood on the shore, watching ships sail into the horizon, dreaming of what lay beyond. The sea was not just his future, it was his destiny. His early life was one of hard work and discipline, but unlike his brothers and sisters, John Paul's eyes were always on the horizon. At age 13, he secured a place aboard a merchant vessel, the Friendship, setting sail for the first time. What followed was a life defined by the ocean's tides. For years, John Paul served aboard merchant ships, sailing the dangerous waters of the Atlantic. He learned not only the art of navigation, but also the brutal realities of life at sea. At just 21 years old, John Paul was entrusted with command of his first ship, the John. But even early success was shadowed by the dark temptations that came with power. His strict sense of authority soon led to conflict. After a dispute over wages, John Paul ordered the flogging of a crew member, who later died from his injuries. The incident led him to his arrest and dismissal. It didn't help that the sailor was connected to a prominent Scottish family, further complicating the matter. By 1772, while commanding Betsy, controversy once again surrounded his name. Another mutiny over wages ended with a dead crewman, further tarnishing his reputation. Rumors began to swirl. Cruelty, brutality, tyranny. These accusations haunted him. And so, to escape his troubled past, he fled. It was then that he adopted the name that history would remember, John Paul Jones. (1775). War is brewing between the American colonies and the British Empire.
No taxation without representation!
Jones arrives in America with a singular goal: to command the seas in the name of freedom. In Philadelphia, Jones presents himself to the leaders of the American Revolution. His past shrouded in controversy, his future destined for greatness. He sees in the fledgling nation not just an opportunity, but a cause worth fighting for. Jones is given command of the Providence, a sloop of war, and quickly makes a name for himself raiding British supply lines. His bold tactics and relentless pursuit of the enemy earns him respect, but also the nickname the Pirate Patriot among the British. His success at sea furthers his standing of the American leadership, and in 1777, Jones is granted command of the Ranger. His orders?
Take the war to British soil!
April 23, 1778. In a daring raid, Jones leads a small crew to the shores of Whitehaven, a British port town. His mission audacious, to set fire to the British fleet. Though the raid did little material damage, It strikes fear into the heart of British public. Jones shows that the war can reach British shores, and his legend grows. September 23, 1779, the Battle of Flamborough Head. John Paul Jones, now commanding the Bonhomme Richard, faces his greatest challenge yet, a battle that would define his legacy. Days before, Jones stalks the British convoy, his heart set on breaking the backbone of British commerce. With a ragtag crew aboard his ship, Jones knows his vessel is no match for the modern British Navy. But this doesn't deter him. A British convoy of ships appear off Flamborough Head at dusk. Jones closes in, his men ready for blood. Among the convoy looms the Serapis, bristling with 44 cannons, each one capable of tearing Jones's ship apart. This ship of war shares the name with the Greek-Egyptian god, and to any ordinary sailor, it seems just as powerful. Commanded by Captain Richard Pearson, the Serapis wastes no time. Pearson knows what must be done: defend the convoy at all costs. As Jones's ship closes the gap, Pearson unleashes the full fury of the British Navy. His guns roar in a deafening symphony of destruction. Jones's ship braces the assault, wooden splinters fill the air, and the crew member bodies litter the deck. The situation is dire. The Bonhomme Richard takes on water, its lower guns useless after exploding. The Serapis circles like a shark, relentless and untouchable. But Jones is not quick to give in. He was born to fight in chaos, to thrive where others would falter. Instead of retreating, he brings his ship alongside the Serapis in a desperate gamble. Their hulls grinding together, the two ships now locked in a deadly tangle. The decks of both ships become a battlefield of their own as muskets fire and swords clash. The cries of wounded men fill the night. The British have the upper hand in numbers and discipline, but Jones's men fight with something to prove. With chaos reigning, Captain Pearson calls out to Jones.
Has your ship struck?
Jones, bloody, shouts back the immortal words that would echo through time.
I have not yet begun to fight!
As the battle rages on, the Bonhomme Richard seems to be dying beneath Jones's feet. Fires rage below deck, and seawater floods her hull. But Jones does not give up. His men continue their attack, spurred on by their captain's spirit. An American sailor sits above the chaos, perched high in the rigging. In a moment of desperation, he hurls a grenade onto the deck of the Serapis, where it lands near a cache of British gunpowder. A massive explosion rips through the British warship, killing scores of British sailors. The impact blows a hole in the ship's side. The explosion rocks both ships, and the Serapis, once a proud predator of the sea, begins to falter. As the smoke clears, Captain Pearson, his ship crippled and his crew decimated, has no choice. He lowers the Serapis's colors and surrenders to the unyielding force of John Paul Jones. The impossible happens. Jones defeats the superior ship against all odds. But the victory comes at a terrible cost. The Bonhomme Richard is beyond saving and begins to sink. Jones and his crew transfer to the battered Serapis, watching as their beloved ship gradually sinks beneath the waves, her watch ending. Although her hull was lost, the spirit of the Bonhomme Richard lives on, forged in the heat of battle. Jones found himself once again adrift, searching for a new purpose. His future uncertain, but his love for the sea undiminished. In 1788, seeking further glory, Jones enters the service of Catherine the Great of Russia. He's appointed as a rear admiral in the Russian Navy, tasked with leading a fleet into the Black Sea against the Ottoman Empire. But his bold nature does not win him friends in the Russian court. Jones would return to Paris, where he spends the final years of his life. a hero of the American Revolution, but a man adrift. His health begins to fail, and in 1792, John Paul Jones dies alone in his apartment, far from the seas that defined him. John Paul Jones's legacy would live on long after his death. He was hailed as the father of the American Navy, a man who fought for freedom with unmatched tenacity. Despite his troubles, his contributions to the birth of a nation cannot be denied. Under the order of President Theodore Roosevelt, Jones's body was exhumed and brought back to the States. Today, his remains rest in the crypt of the United States Naval Academy, a fitting resting place for a man who gave his life to the sea.